I know we've covered Bikone bottom brackets on the channel before, but this is Pogacar's bottom bracket. Let's get into it. The reason I want to make this video separate to the one we did previously, which was their run-of-the-mill bottom brackets, the reasonably priced ones, the ones that you would probably fit to your bike. This is actually the very special and actually very unique designed one that goes out to the UAE team that obviously Pogacar won the Tour de France on. In fact, we have here the special edition bottom brackets that they made for the Tour de France victory, the Giro victory, and this is the stock one that they use for the UAE team. This one's actually got a really cool little Giro D'Italia graphic on it as well. That's dead cool. But this is the thing I'm most interested in. When I first saw this on the website, I'm like, gotta get my hands on one of those. What you are looking at here is almost a one-piece T47 bottom bracket. So you can see on this side, we've got on the non-drive side here, this silver section, which uses a interface you're probably familiar with seeing, and on this side, a very unusual looking tool interface. Now, this is T47 to Shimano. They don't make a SRAM dub one just yet, so this is actually going to get fitted to a customer's bike. He doesn't actually know that yet, but a local member of the cycling club has just brought a new bike off us. It's over there, and we're going to fit this to his bike as a bit of a surprise. So this is what we have. First of all, there is the first outside ring, and this actually has a little O-ring, something that Bikone do a lot of actually. They put O-rings on almost everything to really improve the fit. And then we have this little centering ring here. This works a little bit like the compression ring on your headset, just to keep everything absolutely centered. So you've got an angled surface here, an angled surface here. So this is going to take out any kind of alignment issues at all. And then we have this one piece aluminium here. So in here we've got our bearing, and I really want to get into this because actually behind here there is actually a carbon preload spacer in there. So normally on bottom brackets you would only see a bearing and the bearing, there'd be nothing in between. This actually has a carbon sleeve in there, which is then obviously helping to preload this bearing here. So this being done up is actually part of what they call the preload system. So I'll talk you through that as we go. But here on the other side is our seal again. Little O-rings just in here, super precise, and these are using their ceramic bearings. And there's also another O-ring just here as well behind these threads. So in the box you get a little instruction pack like this and another little O-ring, just a spare one just in case you need it. It gives you some really good warnings about making sure that there's no like hard mounting hardware that's going to interfere with it when you install it. It tells you exactly where to put grease, which is fantastic, and you actually put grease on all those surfaces. So you can put grease on this and on this and on those threads as well. So this is actually the non-drive side, and that goes up to 35 Newton meters. And then you do all the preload and the centering with this from the drive side. Also in the box, and by the way, I love the fact that everything from Bikone has this little hologram seal on it to sort of show that it's authentic. These are seals for wet conditions. So as we know, corrosion normally kills bottom brackets before anything else, so they would fit in there first and then the top caps would go back on top. Yeah, look at that. That's really nice actually. That's a really nice fit. Or you can take those seals off completely. And then also in the box you get a couple of stickers. First of all, that's very important, but you also get the special tool that you need as well. So even the tool has been really, really well thought out. So check this out. One, it's got a 3/8 drive on the center section, so you actually get a proper torque wrench on there. Two, it's serrated on the outside edge, and it's got both tools that you need in the same piece. So here, this is going to interface perfectly. This is a 24mm, so you can do this up by hand to get that going. And then you've obviously got the ability to put a torque wrench on there. And then on the other side, exactly the same, really good fitting tool that you can screw in by hand and then do the final assembly with a torque wrench. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of annoying that you need a special tool, but if you're going to supply a tool to fit a premium bottom bracket, that is the sort of level of tool that you want. I know that you are just as curious as I am to know how much this insane bottom bracket actually weighs. Let's get that on grams, because there we go, 123 grams. That's incredible. That's really, really nice. So we're going to fit this to a bike. and then obviously hand it over to the customer. Now, it's the customer it's going to is a member of the local cycling club, so I know if there's going to be any problems with this at all, it will be straight back in here, and you guys will be the very first to know. But while we're here, let's just take a quick look at these. These are the BSA bottom brackets. We didn't have a chance to look at this on the last video because we've mostly looked at the press fit one and the whole idea of the oversized bottom brackets that Bikone make. But this works on a similar idea. The central sleeve section, this does actually create a very good fit, very little movement on there, very solid fitting. And again, we're using exactly the same top caps. So it's an aluminium top cap that's been anodized, and then a very small O-ring just on the inside there. These are all using the ceramic bearings. That really good premium grease there on the inside. Obviously with these, you don't get the carbon preload tube on the inside. So this is much more like a regular Shimano bottom bracket, if you like, but just with a sort of a better quality bearing, probably better weather sealed, and of course this extra rigidity as well. And of course, in all these fancy colors. Now, we are going to give this one to Henry, and to be honest, he's the only person in the building, all the mechanics here, he's the only one still running a BSA bottom bracket with a Shimano interface. Everybody else is on BB386 Evo or T47. So we're going to give these ones to Henry. He's going to be absolutely made up that this came from the Pogacar's Giro win. And then obviously this one, we've got a very special customer in mind for this as well. So there's a local, very young racer who we've just got a set of wheels being made. Actually, they're being made by another YouTuber called Ryan Builds Wheels. Go and check him out. So he's going to get a new set of wheels and this thrown into the mix as well. He's got a bright yellow bike. He's going to absolutely love that. And this is going to be here for you guys to come and look at and inspect for yourself. We are seriously considering selling these in our web shop because I'm so impressed with them. But before we do that, we need to put them through some serious durability testing. Here we go. This is Henry. Welcome back to the channel, Henry. You might remember Henry from when he did his Fred Whitten video, 5 hours, 45 minutes. It's a really popular video and the comments were so cool. So today we're going to be fitting this. This is for you. This is Pogacar's bottom bracket. There's even like a really cool picture of Pogacar on there and everything, and anodized pink for his Giro win. And it just so happens that you're the only person in the building with this and the colour match as well. How good is that? So you're going to be doing the Three Peaks cyclocross race on this, aren't you?
I am.
Second time you've done it?
So this will be the second time this year.
Yeah. So we're hoping we're going to fit this. It's going to be an extra little bit of luck for you to try and see if we can get a really good time on that.
Marginal gains.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's what it's all about, right? So a couple of bits and pieces that we've done first. We've noticed that your bottom bracket is a BSA and it's been faced from factory. We've measured this surface that's been faced and it's 40 millimeters. And the nice thing about these is we've measured the contact patch here and you see how it's been chamfered. So that is also going to be 40 millimeters. So we don't have to do any facing work. That should fit nice and flush up against the carbon, which is great news. And also what you've got in your hands there is the special seals for cyclocross. So we're definitely going to fit them because we definitely want this weatherproof, don't we? Because you're going to put it through some abuse. Okay, let's get this fitted up then and see how it spins.
Absolutely.
But what we're going to do, Henry, is just thread it in by hand, but don't go all the way into the face. Just leave a couple of threads away from the face. That is the sound of two perfectly machined threads.
Very smooth.
Cool, that'll do. And then if you put the other side in now.
Goes in hand tight.
Yeah, that just gives that centre tube the best chance of getting a really good interface. And we need 35 whole Newton meters.
Making sure it's nice and engaged.
Cool.
And just hearing for that click.
So at this point, I try and have a really good look and make sure that we haven't got the obvious gap.
And no play in it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any play at all. The tiniest little gap there where it's will probably be faced a little bit better. Oh yeah, what have you got there? You've got an Ultegra left hand and a GRX right hand. Henry, what's going on there?
I'm sending off the GRX other side of this to get a power meter from 4i so I can just get a bit of more precise training in and see a few cool numbers.
And then, so you're using some old Tegra thing that you had lying around from an old crank call set and stuff, so...
Doesn't look pretty, but does its purpose. So just making sure I'm greasing where it actually sits against the bearing.
Cool. So, how does it spin?
Let's see. For days.
Considering that's got quite an extra set of seals on there, I'm very impressed by that. All ready for the Three Peaks, Henry. Now, you're set yourself a pretty ambitious target for a time, haven't you?
I have.
Go on, what is it?
If it's a bad day with bad conditions, probably about 3:20.
Okay, super quick.
And then good weather, probably about 3:15, 3:10.
2 years ago, Jake won the under 23s.
I did.
Do you remember what his finishing time was?
It's about 3:30.
So you're going to try and beat Jake's and win in time.
Yeah, I did 3:30 last year, 3:34.
Yeah, you did, yeah. It came really close. You were right up there.
Second
really
under 23, so
yeah,
not quite as good as Jake, but...
Honestly, we wish you the best of luck. It's going to be a fantastic battle between the two of you, that's for sure. There's going to be no friends on race day, right?
No.
So anyway, you got the bike for it. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you.
For those of you who follow road cycling, you're probably wondering, why was there a special edition bottom bracket in BSA when the Colnago team that he races on actually T45? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that the T45 one is very similar to this T47 one, and this is the one which I think has got a very clever engineering in, and Jake is going to join us today to help us fit it. And I want to get your opinion on it, because the last time we had some fancy bottom brackets was from Mr. Hambini.
Indeed.
And you've been running the Hambini for how long?
A little bit over a year.
Yeah. And how's that gone for you?
I really like it. It's very fast. But my big problem with it is the weather sealing. So I ride my bike. I don't ride it through winter, different bikes for that, to trash instead. But I do ride it in the wet in the summer. And I find when it is wet, the NTN bearings wear out very, very fast.
You know, they don't wear out. They sound horrible.
They just go...
You can hear you coming.
Do you want an impression of the NTN bearings? Just go like that.
Yeah, they're definitely nowhere the ceiling at all, are they? So anyway, we've got this. We've got a custom build that we've just been putting together for kind of a friend of the shop. He's been coming here for a while, a guy called Julian, who rides at this local cycling club. So we're fitting it to his bike as a bit of a surprise. So here we go. What do you think of this little blue wonder?
Now, my first impressions of this, when you first explained to me how it worked, was it's almost like a square tapered bottom bracket reinvented, in the fact that you've got the two cups on either end that then self-align. And so it seems like a pretty good idea, to be honest.
You've got one big solid tube, haven't you? And then you've got the little chamfered area that the idea is that would just take out any alignment issues. So let's get it fitted, shall we? So
yeah,
I think.
Let's get cracking.
Yeah.
It's nice using grease rather than Loctite on a bottom bracket for a change, isn't it?
Feels more natural, doesn't it?
It does. It feels nice. It feels nice and calming to not have cracking noises every time you put a bottom bracket in. Cool. So this is the non-drive side. And before we put this in, it's probably worth having a little chat about the tool that we've got for this. This is the Bikone tool.
Yeah, it comes in the box.
In the box, which is very nice. Does it come in the BSA box?
Don't need it. No, it's a standard.
Oh, is it a standard?
It's a standard tool. Yeah.
Cool. And what about the cheaper T47s?
Oh, standard tool.
Standard tool.
Absolutely standard, yeah. It's only this one that needs a special tool.
Cool, which is good. But this is a lovely piece of design. It's actually double-sided because the left and right side have two different engagement styles. But as you can see here, it has a little 24mm hole in the middle of it, which is genius because that means it self-aligns inside.
And hopefully shouldn't slip. Some ham-fisted mechanic.
Touch cardboard.
Yeah.
This is, we're hoping this is going to be a very nice piece of kit. So 35 Newton meters of weight.
Yes, please.
The lovely Wera X3 double-sided torque wrench, which allows us to torque up bottom brackets in every single direction.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it does the job, and it does the job pretty accurately. Now, while you're doing that and you're concentrating, Henry said when he was fitting his bottom bracket that he's going to beat you at the 3-peak cyclocross.
Did he? Yeah. That's interesting. Henry said he's going to beat me a lot of races this year.
No, he didn't. I'm not winding you up, but he was being very, very modest. But he's definitely got a time in mind.
Oh, 100%. And it suits him down to the ground as well, because he's obviously been a very good fell runner in the past.
Yeah.
He knows his way around a bike as well. No, I think it would be a bit of a stretch for me to win outright. To be honest with you, there's a lot of very good riders on the start list. Giles Draper won last year's winner. Rob Jebb, 13-time winner.
But you're still in under 23s category.
I am. It's my last year of under 23s, and it would be very, very nice to defend my title from 2 years ago that I sadly couldn't defend last year.
Due to broken ankle.
Well, not
sprained.
Broken's a strong word, as well as due to being soft, I think is the correct term. But
it's okay. Well, this year Henry's just dislocated his shoulder.
Exactly.
So he's not having the best.
Hopefully, he should be back in action for it.
Yeah,
he's
hitting that really fast.
Yeah, exactly. You can see how good that fit is because the top cap came with it.
So we are not fitting the special seals or the extra seals in this one. This is going on a road bike, and Julian's only really going to ride this in dry weather. So we're going to keep the friction down nice and low, and not fit the seals.
That should give us a good indicator of the differences between the two as well. I don't know. It'll be difficult to beat Henry if he's got a very fast Bikone bottom bracket in his bike, though.
And he's determined.
He's getting all the... Yeah, but he's determined at every race, Paul.
He is.
And so am I.
You've got quite a good run rate on him so far this year.
I do. Historically, I have had the upper hand, but we haven't raced each other at the Three Peaks before. So
that is true. So yeah, Henry's got a background in fell running.
Yeah, very, very good at it, by the way.
Whereas your background was really in cyclocross before you even came into it. And I remember your first one, you actually forced yourself out running.
Yes.
Trying to spend some time running.
Well, do you know what? I think now I've not run for a little bit because I've had quite a busy road season this year.
And a successful road season as well.
Yeah, no, I've been very pleased with it. I've been very happy.
Got to remember, you just completed the Lancaster Grand Prix.
Exactly, and another Prem this weekend, in fact, at Rydale. So if you do follow the British Road calendar, you know when we're filming.
It's your second Prem ever.
It is, it is. So hopefully have another get round on the cards. It's been quite an intense season, but I think it should suit me well. So I've got good legs at the minute. And it's like, as winter rolls in and the cyclocross season comes in, it'll be just translating that form from 3-4 hour races down to an hour.
So this bit is just 10 Newton meters.
Only 10?
It's just 10. Kind of makes sense because you don't want to crush that Delrin spacer.
No.
Just enough to...
Well, and if you think about the invincible square taper, for those of you watching along at home, this is what's it called? A Weir Safe Torque, which
definitely nothing safe about it.
It's a slip pass torque wrench, and it's quite possibly the most terrifying tool I've ever used.
Yeah, we're going to replace those, I think. I really don't like using them.
There we are. That sticks out quite a way. I need my Delrin for that.
Interesting. It kind of needs to because you've got to get the tool on it, I suppose. So, yeah. Right, let's get some cranks in. Let's see how this baby spins.
Cool. That's much easier to slip through than the...
No, that was a significantly better fit. That's a really, really nice alignment, actually. I think we should tell Julian that we've just fitted a £400 bottom bracket to his bike.
Well, I reckon we just let him have it.
Or should we just let us see if he notices that bright blue bit of anodizing?
I reckon at least let him ride it once and see if he can tell. Yeah, I will be intrigued to see the longevity of these without the weather seals in, because that's been my problem with the Hambini. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a problem, to be honest, because it's kind of just what you get out of a performance bottom bracket is it does require servicing a little bit more often, and I'm okay with that for saving, I don't know, however many thousands of watts it saves me.
Thousands of watts?
I think so. Should we spin it?
Yeah, let's go for it. Oh, that's nice.
That's pretty good. That was not a lot of force behind it as well.
Does it fall down under its own steam? Oh, look at that!
What a dream. I mean, you would hope so for £400 though, wouldn't you?
That's what it should be like. That is impressive alignment for a T47 bottom bracket. It
is good for a square taper.
Right, so the jury is out because we need to give this at least 6 months of British weather conditions and see what sort of corrosion has crept in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. If you've got £400 to spend on a bottom bracket, I wouldn't say no just yet.
Right, you guys, it's your turn. Get down there in the comments. Let us know what you think of the Pogacars or the UAE team's bottom brackets. Is it worth the money? Let us know. Thanks for watching, and think about hitting that subscribe button if you want more fantastic content like this where we talk about some of the best tech in the cycling industry. Cheers.
See ya.